Hello adventurers, I am back. I know it's been a while since my last update. I'm so sorry. After my last video where I talked about I hurt my ankle and I was famous at this restaurant and they were taking pictures of us and giving us a discount, I then actually got sick. I kind of got like strep throat for a little bit and lost my voice. It's just now like kind of coming back, so you can kind of still hear if my voice sounds a little raspy, a little deep. That's why. So with me being sick and my ankle being hurt and me starting this new job, I just decided to wait to do a video. And I was probably also being lazy, so I'm sorry guys. But I'm here now, so let's get started with a video I call 11 things they don't tell you before you move to China. Number 11. So if you've done any research into moving to China, you already know about VPNs and needing them to access Facebook, Google, most of the apps we rely on back home. But what no one seems to tell you is you need to have a browser on your computer that is not Chrome. Of course, Chrome will work with your VPN, but let's say something goes wrong with your VPN on the second night you're in China, and you need a different browser to be able to get on the internet. You can't search the web with Google Chrome if you don't have your VPN. So you have to have another browser to be able to search if something goes wrong. Would have been good to know before I left. Number 10. Before you leave home, everyone will tell you every stereotype that has ever existed about China. That goes for their government, their food, their driving. Everyone knows everything, apparently, about China, even though they've never been. So it's very likely that you're going to get here and you're going to find that the dumb stereotypes, like the driving is crazy, are definitely true. And the driving is really crazy. More than Florida crazy. But a lot of the more serious stereotypes are completely not true. Like, people would make it seem like I would feel so unsafe in this new, unfamiliar place. But honestly, I felt safer here walking around at night than I ever have in America. And everyone here is just so nice and helpful, and they just want you to feel comfortable, and they're just really happy to see people visiting their country. And so even if they don't speak your language whatsoever, they really want to help you the best of their ability. Number 9. Everyone on the internet before I got here said that, oh, if you live in a big city, there's tons of English speakers everywhere. There's pretty much an English speaker. And anywhere you go, you can find somebody. I cannot stress to you enough, this is not true. Maybe those people are living in Beijing or Shanghai or Hong Kong, and these magical English-speaking fairies have sprinkled dust all over the city, and everyone there speaks English and Chinese. But in Chongqing, that's not the case. And before you say it's a small city, maybe there's just not a lot of English speakers there, this is a huge town. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen like 1/10 of it. I've seen a tiny piece of it. It is so big. And in all of that space, do you know how many English speakers I've found? 5, 10. That's it. I see and meet thousands and thousands of people every single day, and most of them just know hello. So what I want to tell you about this is, learn as much Chinese as you can before you get here. I spent months studying the language, the writing, the reading, everything before I got here. And I don't even know a fraction of enough to tell a taxi driver how to get me to my house. And you can take lessons once you get here, but you need to know a survival amount of Chinese at least before you get here so that you can get around and get through things easily. I can't tell you how glad I am that I spent all that time learning it before I got here, because it has saved me tons of times. It saved the other teachers once or twice. It is so helpful, and I still wish I had learned more before I got here. Number 8. You're gonna notice when you go apartment hunting that there are washers in most apartments, but there are no dryers. and you may have to specifically request a Western toilet. So it's just kind of something to keep in your mind, but it's very, very easy to get one. Either way, it's one of those things that you have to check your expectations and know that most places just won't have it. Number 7, I know it's widely accepted to tip waiters and waitresses, hairdressers, taxi drivers, basically anyone in the service industry back home, but in China, that's a big no-no. They just don't have the tipping culture that we do, and sometimes it can be taken offensively as if we're saying, oh, your boss doesn't pay you enough, here's a little extra. So when you're out, just remember, no tipping and don't finish your plate. If you do finish everything on your plate, it's okay, but some people might take offense to it and feel like they didn't feed you enough food and they'll want to give you more. Like I said, they're just super nice and they just really want to be polite. Number 6. So we talked about in the last episode how me and the other 2 new teachers kind of became celebrities at this restaurant. They were taking pictures and giving us discounts for letting them get pictures with us. That actually happens all the time. You're on the subway, someone says, hey, turn around, photo. You're sitting on a bench eating some ice cream, just talking about your day. Someone stops, hey, photo, WeChat, add me on WeChat. Everywhere you go, it's either you're getting stared at or it's the paparazzi following you. A lot of Chinese people just aren't used to seeing Americans and British and basically anyone who isn't Chinese visiting their country. It's truly easiest just to take the photos and be nice and smile when people stare than to get upset about it. If you don't feel comfortable giving out your WeChat, don't feel bad, just don't give it out. Some people, as soon as you meet them, you'll know they're kind of idol worshiping that you're different, and you know that it's more just gonna be them talking about how cool it is that you're not from China than it being a real friendship. And it's okay to not give out your WeChat if you feel it's gonna be like that. Don't feel pressured to give it out. People understand, they'll get it. Number 5. So unless your body type is kind of similar to that of a thin, small Chinese person, they are probably going to say you are fat, and they will say it to your face. It's not meant to be offensive, it's truly just they're stating a fact, like, oh, you're fat. But it's just by their standards, and it's not meant to be an insult. Kind of a rite of passage at our school is getting told by one of the kids that you're fat, even if you're not that big. It's just a culture thing, it's just something they say, it's not a serious thing. However, if you have body image issues and you know that someone saying this even once is really going to destroy you, I would rethink coming to China. It's just a fact of the culture here. It's just going to happen. So if you know that it's going to hurt you on a really deep level, maybe go to a different country where it's in the social norm to not say it. Number 4. This kind of goes along with the stereotypes, but a lot of people before you leave say, oh, Chinese students don't ever talk and they are silent and they won't talk to you when you talk to them because they're so afraid of talking to a teacher and they want to be right and they want to be perfect and all that stuff. While these kids have a deep-rooted sense of honor and integrity and wanting to be a really fantastic, perfect student, and some of them may be shy when you first meet them, maybe when you come into the class, but they're kids just like a kid anywhere else. If you have a time that you want them to be silly and crazy, then you just act silly and crazy and they'll follow suit. It's not hard. So don't be worried about it either direction. Don't be worried that the kids won't talk to you and won't participate because they are so mild-mannered, and don't be scared that they're gonna be too crazy or wild either. Truly, they're kids. You need to have classroom management for when things get silly, but at the same time, they are super well behaved and their parents a lot of times get involved. So don't be worried about your students before you come. They're the same kind of kids you would find anywhere, and they will love you just as much as any other kid. Number 3. Now my top 3, I've been shifting back and forth and trying to pick which one is the most important, and all 3 of these are huge, so I'm just saying these 3. They may not be in the right order, I don't know. All 3 of these are just equally important. So we all know when we start a new job, we kind of get to know our coworkers and we see who we're going to be friends with, who everybody doesn't like in the office, and who everybody really likes, and kind of the ins and outs of the cliques in the office. I'm going to say something, and some people probably will not agree with me, but I wholeheartedly believe it, so I'm going to say it. You can learn something from absolutely everyone you work with when you're teaching. Everyone. Oh, that mean old lady that nobody likes, that all the kids are scared of. She might have fantastic classroom management techniques. Maybe somebody's a know-it-all and they just want to tell you everything. Just humor them and say, yeah, I'm brand new, I know nothing. Please teach me something. Take something to them that you're specifically struggling with and let them explain it to you. And let them just break it down for you. You don't have room to make enemies. You need all the ideas, all the creativity, all the teamwork that you can get in this moment. And you make a ton of new friends in a new country. Plus, they've probably all been here a while, so they might know Chinese. They know good spots to go to. They can speak some of the language and help you get around, help teach you things, whatever. There is no downside to coming in with positivity and saying, I'm not going to be in the office politics. I am going to learn something from every person in this room, because I promise you, every one of them can teach you something. Even if it has to be what not to do, you can learn something really, really important. Number 2, this is something I have struggled with a lot since I arrived, and I wish that somebody had voiced this to me before I got here, so I'm telling you this now. Not every day is great. There are some days you wake up and you're trying to communicate with people and you just can't. Your Chinese is bad, you're using chopsticks, and for some reason your hands aren't using chopsticks the right way, and your water was turned off, your electricity was turned off. Whatever it is, not every day has to be this magical journey in this faraway land that you live in. Some days are just difficult. And I think what made me really struggle with this is my other 2 teachers seemed like really in love with it and really into it in every moment. And I was just having the worst time. I mean, I fell and I went to the hospital for my ankle and it was all torn up, and I was walking with a cane and I got sick, and the one day the kids were crazy and I can't communicate well enough even though I studied so hard. And I was just having a string of bad days, and it felt like it was never going to change. Obviously it did. I've had days that were hilarious, that were amazing, that I taught classes that just went so well and everything went great, and I was just shocked by how perfectly everything went. There have been days that I've met new people, or I learned something new, I made a new friend. The good days exist. It's just not every day has to be perfect. For me, I spent so much time dreaming of going abroad, and everyone knew this, that everyone always says, you're living your dream, you're living your dream. And when I was having bad days, I felt like I was letting all of that down. That I was somehow not living up to that expectation of just loving every single minute of my time abroad. And that's truly not what it's about. It's about new experiences. It's about meeting new people. It's about trying new food, seeing new cultures, living in the middle of this place that you've never experienced. It's not about loving it every second of every day. So just remember, you're allowed to have bad days. I've had them. We've all had them. It's okay. You're not letting anyone down. You're not letting this dream down that you've had. You just had a bad day. Number 1. This goes along with number 2. Number 1 is to relax, have fun, and remember that your attitude can determine your circumstances. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the work and the getting the apartment and making it cute and clean and, lesson planning, getting ready for all the stuff you're gonna do, and never going out and having any fun. I do it all the time. And then I realize at the end of the week when I wanna rip my hair out that I'm like, oh, I haven't done anything for me this week at all. Maybe I should go out with the new teachers and talk to them, or go for a walk, but just do something for you so that you can relax and de-stress. Remember that you are the reason you did this. Yes, the kids are important, and the lesson planning is important, and the apartment's important, and all this stuff is important, but so are you. And you're taking this awesome, amazing journey across the world so that you can have these experiences. You can learn from these kids, you can learn from this culture. So just take care of yourself as number one, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful for you. If you aren't moving to China, then I hope you learned a little something new about Chinese culture and kind of some of the stuff that we struggle with when we get here. And if you are moving to China, I really hope this helps you prepare and this helps you feel ready to go, or if you're already here, hopefully it reminds you to have fun and have good days. And if you know somebody who wants to teach abroad, please send them my videos so that they can see what they're getting into and have some help along the way. Also, send them to me through Facebook or whatever. I'll message them and talk to them about it. And we have a referral program with EF, and we are absolutely always looking for new teachers. So just let me know, and I'll definitely refer you guys if you're a totally awesome teacher that wants to live the dream like I am. And don't forget, keep adventuring.